What's up, guys? This is a packed banger in the house. We already got the chat lined up. The Dating Doc is in the building. Thank you for coming in, Dating Doc. Good to see you, man. I want to say this is episode 3 of The Next Step. So the Next Step is a show just about like how do we move on to the next step and become better men? How do we progress and just move up in life, right? Now, usually I have a panel or a show called the Grand Meal Interview Series, but the Grand Meal podcast is usually a one-on-one. But I brought a panel, and I have like a pack panel. I also have one more person jumping in just a moment, which is Mr. Locario. But I would like to start and introduce everyone who's on the panel and how this whole thing started about. So first, I'd like to say that we have AFI Kingdom in the building. Good to see you, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just ready to chat game as always and teach cats. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. There's always a young man out there that needs to hear the wisdom of AFI Kingdom. So I was one of those guys that I still listen to AFI on his live stream. So anyone who is new to AFI Kingdom, anyone from Ty's community, from Bulldog Mindset's community, or from my community, and Mr. Locario is just jumping in right now. Oh, what is up, Mr. Locario? How you doing?
What's going on? What's popping? What's good? What's good?
It's about to get crazy up in here. Okay, so I wanted to say shout out to the chat. Frank, good to see you, brother. Thank you so much for watching my stuff. Afi, thank you so much for coming on the stream. Really appreciate you, brother. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Afi, and then we'll go down the panel.
Oh, you want to hear about me?
A little bit about you before we get to everybody, before we get to Ty as well. A little bit about you for those who are not familiar with you.
Why you've been streaming? I don't know. I don't know if I got the game today. I hope I don't know. I need to practice. I'm AFI Kingdom. I've been doing YouTube since 2018. So about a year, 3 years, and changing. Now 24,000 subscribers. Author of 14 books. I coach men and women. Dog pet owner, international travel. That's all I got right now.
Beautiful. And he just came back from a trip from Africa, too. This guy had quite the expedition. So good to see you, Afi. Bulldog Mindset, you are on the right side of AFI Kingdom, so I'm going to pick you as next person to introduce yourself. Dude, Bulldog Mindset, you are the man, brother. Thank you so much for coming on my stream. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm John. I run a company called Bulldog Mindset. Basically, I teach men to get rid of the victim mindset, which is the opposite of the Bulldog Mindset, and take personal responsibility for themselves. And I do that basically through mindset, but also through teaching men how to build up their finances, build a business, invest, through the fitness side of it, of how to get in shape. You know, I had some pretty big fitness transformations myself, and then through the relationship side on the dating and relationships. And yeah, that's basically what I do.
Yep. Bulldog Mindset, I met you in California when you were here, and I got to say you're one of the coolest guys. Same with Afi, I met you in person as well, man. You guys both are very, very cool guys, and I'm really thankful to have you guys as friends. So moving on to the next person, Mr. Locario, you are on the bottom left of my screen. It's good to have you, brother, on here. Mr. Locario, how you doing, man?
I'm chilling. What's going on, everybody, man? Appreciate y'all. You know, everybody on the panel, everybody watching. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody for those who don't know me. My name is Mr. Locario. I'm a dating and life coach, teaching men and women to get exactly what they want in the dating game. So that's what I do. So that's my little spiel there.
Yep. And you have a whole membership called the Bad Boy membership.
Shit, cut off.
No, you're good, man. I can hear you. Yeah, Mr. Locario has a Bad Boy membership. He's also on the Real Game No Theory panel. Okay, I guess he cut off right there, but he's on the Real Game No Theory panel. And his advice is absolutely spectacular. In fact, everybody on this panel has helped me out tremendously. So, Ty, you are last but not least, brother. You are the up and comer on YouTube, man. You're killing it, bro. I've been checking your channel. Your viewers have been growing as well, man. And I gotta say, you have good stage presence as well. You got that good smile too that people can connect with you as well and relate to you, man. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and. For those who are not familiar with you, because you are an up-and-comer, man, and you're killing it so far with the views.
Yeah, man. For those who don't know, I'm Tyx Worldwide, man. Ex-military, and I'm all about just fitness, finance, and fashion, man. Those three things is what I represent. All about, encouraging men all over the world to better themselves and how to deal with women and that way they can be the I guess be the best version of themselves.
Absolutely. Now, I want to tell everybody in the audience right now, why did I pick AFI Kingdom, Bulldog Mindset, Mr. Locario? So here's the thing. It all started with Ty and I just doing a one-on-one. But then I thought, you know what? Let's make this a little bit more interesting. For all the gentlemen on the panel, this is the reason why we did that, and everyone who's watching, this is why I made this decision. Mr. Locario comes from an interesting situation as well that a lot of guys don't have. He's in an open marriage, and you're also actively dating on dating apps. Is that correct, Mr. Locario?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the open marriage. Bulldog Mindset, you're currently dating a woman right now. Boyfriend, girlfriend, monogamous relationship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And AFI Kingdom, you, I remember you mentioning like on your recent post something about just, you're still living your player lifestyle. You're seeing the women that you see. You have your rotation. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just still single and lonely, just looking for shooters.
And Ty, what's your situation as well, brother?
Man, I just got a rotation of women, man. I'm single. I'm living a single life, man. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And then, this is not, again, guys, this panel is for everyone to get a broad perspective. That's why I wanted to have this, because we have open marriage, we have relationship, we have player lifestyle, we have rotation. Like, I'm in the process of getting towards where John is at, where I do want to be in a monogamous relationship eventually with one particular person. So it is, I think this is a great perspective. Now, guys, this is going to be, something very interesting that I want to discuss. So I have also one of Ty's videos. The reason why I brought Ty on this panel is because Ty has a video where he talks about how marriage is a scam. Now, Ty, just like Afi said, I did not search for you. Your video just came up as a suggestion. I guess it's from all the red pill content and all that, shit that's out there that, it keeps coming on my YouTube. So you came up and I'm like, hold up. Marriage is a scam. I got to hear what this guy has to say, because maybe he has some validity in what he's saying. Because I'm open-minded. I'm not just going to close off and say, nope, I don't agree with any of it, right? So I'm going to say this, man. This is freaking awesome for you, because this is to first of all, showcase your video in front of Mr. Locario, Bulldog Mindset, AFI King. These guys have been in the game, and I would like them to assess your video and give honest opinions about what they think. It doesn't mean one is right, one is wrong, but essentially, I would like to get the audience to have their own perspective of it. Take away whatever they want to take away. If they want to be in a relationship, great. If they want to be married, perfect. If they just want to be single for the rest of their life, that's fine. That's all that matters. So we all on board for that?
You guys make that?
Yeah, dude. Ty, I'm just telling you right now, man, you got like 3 big dudes right now about to watch your shit. I love it, dude. I got to give myself, first of all, I want to give myself as a host a pat on the back for having Afi, Bulldog, and Mr. Locario on this. Like, I've been coached by all 3 of you guys for a whole year, and I'm still getting coached by you guys. I listen to your videos all the time. So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for making this happen, because it's well deserved. All right. So we're going to go to the share screen, and let's go over here. All right. So Chrome tab. All right. There we go. So I'm guessing everybody can see the video of Mr. Ty right over here, right?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So let me just play this. Okay, it's a little bit lagging right now, but do you guys hear that?
A little bit, but it's kind of low.
Before I get started,
Now I can hear it now better.
Okay.
man, I want to shout out all my subscribers, man. I just hit 1K plus, man. Yo, I greatly.
How's that better now? Do you guys hear it better now?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. By the way, congratulations on hitting that 1,000 subscribers, Ty.
Oh, thank you.
And sharing my video. I appreciate all of it, man. Real talk, man. Let's get right into it. Marriage is a scam.
Don't fucking do. Hey, man, I don't recommend doing that shit, bro, because man, we don't really gain nothing from that shit, bro. Let's be realistic. What do we gain from that shit?
Okay, so Ty, I want to ask you a question. So where did this come from, the idea of you saying that marriage was a scam? Was there like a traumatic experience? And listen, we've all had our experiences, so this is in no way judging you or making you any way less than anybody else. Like, we're all men here, and we all want to learn from each other. That's what this whole community is all about. And you're giving advice to men that want to learn from your experience as well, right? So what inspired you to create this idea and make this statement that marriage is a scam? And like, what did you feel that encouraged you to say this?
I mean, stats. I mean, we can't ignore stats. I was married myself. And we don't really gain nothing from it. I mean, I had to look at the stats, experiences from other people that talk about it. We just don't really gain nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? It's not designed for men.
So
And
what is it? So when you were in this marriage, how long were you in the marriage for?
2 years. 2 years.
Okay, and then how long were you? Does anyone else have any questions? I don't want to make it just me asking. Does Locario, do you have a question about this?
Oh no, I just thought it was interesting because I actually saw this video before.
Yes,
And we did a kind of like a response video on my show a few I think it was like a few weeks ago and stuff. But
Yes,
yeah, I
it
just thought
was.
that was interesting. But not keep going. Keep going.
So I want to first, Ty, really quick, I want to give a shout to Steve, the Dean, is in the building. Thank you, brother, so much. I'm looking forward to doing a live stream with you. It's going to be freaking awesome. Steve, love you, man. And then we got April MC in the building.
Shout out April in the building.
Yeah, I had to let you do that one. That's yours. Okay, so we got my boy Marcus saying get the likes up. Thank you, Marcus, so much. And even Steve the Dean right here, he has a comment for Mr. Ty. He's saying, I guess marriage is a scam. I need to tell my wife of 21 years with no problems that we need to break up. What's your Ty? What's your response to people who had healthy marriages, or they've been in a healthy marriage and they have been in a very stable one? What's your response to that?
I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. You know what I'm talking about? But you don't know a marriage until it's over. When both of y'all is hello. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. We can hear you.
Okay, you don't know until both of y'all is deceased. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we just can't ignore stats. And everybody gonna have their anecdotes about their situation in their marriage. But when we look at the stats and what it is, that it proves a whole nother topic.
Okay. And I have by the way, some static coming. Alex, thank you so much for pointing this out. Let's see. I might have to mute somebody in here because we are getting some static in the background. Okay, Locario. I think that was Locario. So, Locario, whenever you want to speak, or actually, it might be. Let's see. Okay, I think we're good for right now. Alex, thank you again for pointing that out. If you notice again, or anybody in the okay, I'm starting to hear it again right now. We're talking. Let me see if I just mute Ty for a moment. All right. Okay. So Ty, I think it's Ty and Locario. So guys, feel free to unmute yourselves whenever you guys want to speak up, or if I ask a question, I'll just unmute you guys. Yeah. Thank you, Dating Doc, for pointing that out. So Steve the Dean saying a man isn't a stab because he rules his house off his name. So so I want to ask you this, Ty. In regards to what Steve is saying, right? Steve's coming from the premise. I don't want to speak on Steve's behalf, but I do want to mention that. Hold on, let me mute you for a second. So I'll say what the takeaway that I got from Steve's and Locario's teaching, because Steve and Locario are from the same camp. And when you make yourself your life all about you, making yourself selfishly you end up trusting your decisions a whole lot more than the average man. Because if you don't know yourself well enough, if you cannot speak on the fact that why a woman should be deserving of you, then you cannot live a life of a healthy marriage, because you can't even trust your own decision making, because then you give all of a sudden all this power to the woman. And when you give power to the woman, then all of a sudden she can make all these decisions and she runs your life. And then all this kind of shit happens where she will divorce you, or she will cheat on you, or something like that. That's my takeaway. That's a very brief summary of it. So it's not everything, and I don't want to take over the talking time for all the other panelists. So I want to ask Bulldog, what's your whole take on marriage in general?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. So I definitely agree with parts of the idea that it's not designed for men, and I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think that's accurate, but there's something to be said about creating some level of commitment, because the thing is, right, so it comes down to the roots, right? The roots of relationships between men and women, which is that women are the gatekeepers of sex, and men are the gatekeeper of relationship, right? Men, what do they want from women? They want respect, they want sex, they want admiration. What do women want from men? Well, women want from men security, right? They want to feel loved, they want commitment. And so it really is an institution that's designed for women, but at the same time, right? It doesn't mean that it's a bad institution. That's something that you shouldn't embark upon, because if you find a woman that you do love and that you do want to build a family with and have children, you want to have that level of stability. You want to give a person what you can give them, and it shows, because it's such a risky endeavor. It shows your level of commitment. Because see, I think a lot of men get blindsided and they go into marriage not understanding the risks involved, right? So I think it's good that we have content out here that talks about the dangers of marriage and why you shouldn't get married. Because as a man, if you are blindsided about this, if you don't understand the statistics and the numbers, and you don't understand how to be a man and how to rule your own home and to be the king, then you're going to become one of those statistics. So, but at the same time, just like we know that, planes can crash and you can get hit by a car, life is not without risk, right? And so it means a lot more, and it's a lot more of a choice for a man to get married, having that knowledge, right? Knowing that he is taking a risk, but his level of commitment is high enough. His level of trust in himself and the person that he's vetted and is with is high enough that he's willing to take that potential risk, which could mean losing half your shit, could mean a lot of pain and agony. But I think that's kind of my view on it, is that you have to understand what the risks are. It's not an institution that's great for men. Men do not benefit greatly from it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. I think, thank you for that, John. So I want to ask Locario, how John mentioned a really good point about being a statistic, right? Let me unmute you. There you go. So, Mr. Locario, how do we, for men out there, like this gentleman right now just said something like this. He said, why would I want to invite the government into my relationships, right? And Primal Studies, thank you for that question. I would also say this as well. I think there are guys that are similar to maybe what Primal Studies is saying, is like, why would I want to get into marriage when I would become a statistic, for example? So what's your whole take on this, Mr. Locario?
Well, I think the thing that guys got to understand is that when you understand your value as a man, meaning why women value you, and also why women are attracted to you, why women want to be with you, what happens is that you understand that you're valuable, and you understand that there's a reason why the woman wants to be with you, wants to have your last name, want to be in your life in whatever capacity that is. And so what a lot of guys don't understand is that they don't understand the influence that they have over women if they have game. So let me put that caveat there, because what happens is that a lot of guys come from the standpoint of a woman is doing something for them. They're like, I hope she likes me. I hope I get lucky. You understand? Like if they're talking about sex, like, they're like, I got to go and chase a woman. I have to roll out the red carpet. I have to court her. This is the type of energy that men are thinking with. So when you come at it from that standpoint, of course, it doesn't make sense to get married or to be in a relationship, because that means that though you're basically being run by the woman. You're basically following the woman. The woman is the leader. The woman is controlling the situation. But if you understand it from the other side of the spectrum, when you understand the game is about you, you understand your value, you understand that the woman is trying to be on your team. The woman is trying to be about you. So when you're in a relationship with a woman and you're vetting her correctly, what happens is that her being in your life is going to be a benefit to you if you know how to structure your situation in a way where she can benefit you. So a lot of times what guys do is that they get married or they get into long-term relationships with a woman because the woman wanted it. You understand? Or because they just wanted some in-house vagina. You feel what I'm saying? They don't
consistent vagina too.
Right. So they don't actually look at it in the sense of how can this woman benefit me even outside of sex with other aspects of my life. But also too, what happens is this. Guys think that this is the biggest mistake. Guys think that they can get a certain level of cooperation from a woman without giving her a certain position. So what that means is this: if I had a company and I hired you and you were entry level, right? I can't expect a vice president of the company work from an entry level person. So the only way I'm going to get vice president company work from you or energy from you is once you become the vice president. But you don't become the vice president overnight. You become the vice president through work, hard work, sacrifice, and actually putting in the work to get to that level. So when you're dealing with a woman and you marry her, that has to be where she got to the top level. But most guys, what they'll do is they'll get with a girl, they'll marry her within like, 6 months, you know what I'm saying, or a year. They've only known this woman for so long. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't proven anything. And then this is why the women will divorce them, take them for half their stuff, because they had no influence over the woman. The woman didn't care about them in the first place. And the guy just felt like he was lucky enough to have her, which is why he married her, instead of having her go through what she needs to go through to basically get that sort of position. Once she's in that position, you've already had that influence over her. So even if it goes, you break up or whatever it is like that, because you have such a huge influence on her, you won't have to go through the BS most guys go through. Most guys go through the BS because they have no influence over the woman. So I know plenty of guys who they're not married, they're not paying any child support, you understand, to their wives, because they have influence over them to set a certain thing up. They're not with ex-wives who were on some BS because they had a certain type of influence. So I think a lot of guys are missing the aspect of influence in the situation. But that's my take on it.
Damn, bars. Thank you, John and Locario, for that. So Ty, I want to know based on what John and Locario said so far, what is your take on this, man?
It sounds good. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It sounds good, and we just gotta be realistic here, because if a lot of people knew the stats of marriage and really knew about marriage, they would have second thoughts about getting into the marriage, because when they go through the divorce, they're like, damn, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to start putting stats into it. And I'm going to read some for you, okay?
Sure.
All right. 50% of marriages end in divorce. All right. Second marriage is 67% divorce. Third marriage is 75% divorce. Women get custody in 90% of all divorces. 15 to 20% of marriages are sexless. Premarital assets are usually off limits. Alimony, not put in agreement, she can still get it. Every state is different for prenups. Prenups still get overturned at judge's discretion if it seems unfair or lopsided. Average marriage lasts 8 years. And 70% of domestic violence, the woman was the one who initiated and was the abuser. So you put all of that into that, right? You take all of that. Why would I gamble with that? You see what I'm saying? And just because you've been married for 20 years, 21 years, 22 or whatever, does not mean it is a happy marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not saying, don't do it if you don't want to do it or whatnot. I'm just saying a lot of people just don't notice. And they go into it blindsided, thinking it's about love. It's not about love. I'm telling you, it's about leverage. Now, there's some, there's some good marriages. There's some in there, but not all of them. And I just can't, sit up there and say that, like, oh, we live in this happy fairy life tale. No, it doesn't go like that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be realistic here.
So Ty, first of all, I want to say shout out to Mr. 1950 in the building. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for watching the show. Ty, I'm gonna get Mr. AFI Kingdom right now to respond to what you said, and also AFI, I would love to hear your take on. Here, I'm gonna unmute you. I love to hear your take also on the statistics. Like, what's your take on this whole thing, AFI?
Shit, to be honest with you, bro, I don't care about no statistics, bro. I just like messing with whoever I want to mess with. I don't want to have kids. If I were like trying to have a family, then marriage would be an option for me, because I'm gonna want some type of leverage up in my family structure and stuff like that. Because people are not gonna quit. Your baby mama ain't gonna leave fast. But divorce is a process. But I don't really care about none of that. I just live my life how I want to. I don't get fed up. I don't care what nobody do. You want to get married? Get married. That's cool. If it worked for you, cool. But me personally, I don't want to do it. But I'm just a different kind of cat. Like, even though I don't want to do it, I don't teach don't get married. Even though I don't want to do it, I still don't teach it. Because I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because different people had a different forms of happiness, and for some cats, being married, having a wife, having that title, having that is happiness to them. So how could I take that away from them by just off the shit that I've been through? You see what I'm saying? But on the other hand, it ain't gonna work for me because I just like doing what you know what I'm saying. If I like you, we just gonna rock. You know what I'm saying? And if my word ain't good enough, then you ain't the one for me. My word is gold. So if you don't listen to gold, well then you ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
and what I ain't never doing is getting on my knees. If I were to propose, I'll put it in a box or something on some player and do it like that. See, I just gotta do stuff my own way, no matter how I do it. That's what I ain't doing. It's getting on my knees, looking up. I ain't doing that, but that's just me personally. So the stats, I don't live in scarcity. That doesn't scare me because I got fire mouthpiece and I smell good. That don't affect me. But I don't want to be attached. I want to live abroad. I don't want to be attached to not a woman to nothing. So that's just where I'm at with it. You feel me?
Absolutely, Afi. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, Ty. So based on like my coaching, or not my coaching, well, I do coach this as well, but you know, based on like the advice I've received from Mr. Locario, Bulldog, and Afi, I've picked a little bit of like what every gentleman has said. And for me, what I've come to the realization is that the reason why a lot of guys, in my opinion, make the wrong mistake of being a statistic, like being in that statistic. By the way, I appreciate you bringing up the statistics because I love how you came prepared for this. So, I mean, you're somebody to work with, obviously. So you're very professional about that. I like that. You're bringing more entertainment value to the show. So I want to say this, man. Okay, for everybody right now, I was scared. I'm still interested in being married. I do want to have children. I want to have a family, but I was scared of having a family. And the reason why is because before I earned all this knowledge and went through the work of being coached, calling into all these shows, getting yelled at by Steve the Dean. I love you, Steve the Dean. Getting, coached by all these guys out there, right? Telling me to wake the fuck up. And what I realized was that I didn't trust myself enough. And because if you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your decision making with women. Because when you start blaming, this is again my opinion on this study, when you start blaming women, you don't trust yourself enough. Because if you understood yourself well enough and you knew your decision-making skills, you picked the right woman. So I have a rotation of women, and I've also decreased my rotation of women because I'm trying to find that one girl that is the right one for me. Now, I have my own criteria for that. So that's my realization. I come to the conclusion, Ty, was that, if I just learn what it takes to be a man, what makes Cameron, what makes Cameron Grand Cam, right? Then any woman that comes in my life is going to be the right woman. Now, not every single woman is going to be right from the jump. I have to take her through the ringer. She has to, I have to see if she's cooperative. There's all these different criteria that she has to go through. So someone in the chat asked you a question, Ty. This is from my boy Frank, and I'm going to put you on the solo layout. He's saying, question for Ty, were you married while serving? I've had a number of friends who served in military marriages and seem to be train wrecks due to being young, rushing it, and doing it for the money.
Yeah, I was married while I was serving. Yeah, I was.
Okay. And, Dating Doc is in the building as well. This guy he's actually in the military as well. He's a single, but if you, Dating Doc, if you want to provide some context or any kind of information, please go ahead and let us know. So Ty, what's your response to what I was saying about just kind of trusting yourself? Because that's kind of along the lines of what all three of us are saying, Locario, Afi, and Bulldog and I. What's your response?
I mean, it's all good. I mean, you can know yourself for a day, but that government don't care how much you know yourself. That government don't care about God. That government don't care about none of them vows. It does not care. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it sounds good. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm for that. I'm for family. I'm all for that. But that system that's in between the marriage, you're not married to her. You're married to that system, that government. You see what I'm saying? That make money off your marriage failing. You see what I'm saying? And I personally, I just never heard a married man say, you know what? And before I say this, I know a lot of people in the comments come with their anecdotes, but I'm talking about for the masses right now. Yeah. I don't hear a married man just say, yeah, man, hell yeah, the married life is lovely. What I do hear is this. Yeah, man. Yeah, dog, the wife, man, hey, don't do it until it's like a smirk on their face. It's like, it's like, yo, the married life.
I got a question after too.
You see what I'm saying? I don't really hear
real quick.
You said what?
Oh no, I'm saying I agree with you. I got piggyback when you finish.
Oh, yeah.
Well, finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after Alfie.
I mean, if you want to say something, go ahead, bro. No, me what?
Oh, well, no, I was gonna say this because that is the truth. God, you'll hear guys. It's like even guys with kids. They'll be like, "Yeah, I mean, I love my wife, but it's always a but. But if I could do it again, you get that a lot. But if I could do it again, I do stuff differently. So it's a lot of that too. And I want to ask Locario and maybe Steve Dean too, or 1950 since y'all listening. Now, I know you guys are married, but if where's some wood at? I'm knocking on wood. If something were to happen, would you entertain getting married again? That's what I want to know.
Great question.
Okay, I can
So,
answer
Locario,
that.
go ahead, man.
Yeah, I can answer that. If something was to happen, yeah, definitely, I would entertain getting married again, because what it is no matter what happens in my relationship or my marriage, my stuff is set up to where, let's say, for example, me and my wife break up, right? And I got to give her some money. The money I'm giving her is the money she earned from all the years she helped me build my business. This is why I tell guys, whenever you're dealing with a woman long term, she should be providing some value that has more to do than just sex. Because what happens is, if you get into that situation where things don't, you break up before you die, you understand? Then that's a fair trade. The problem is that dudes get married to women and they don't require women to do anything. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore, you don't have any influence over the woman. The woman doesn't respect you. Nothing is going down that direction. Now, the thing I wanted to say also too about statistics is, one, you got to take statistics with a grain of salt, because most statistics are made based off of the agenda, whatever that company is trying to push, wherever you got the statistics. And statistics aren't always accurate, because even when it comes to statistics, we don't actually know what were the conditions upon whether statistics were made. So, for example, if you're saying, okay, well, most of these marriages, and the statistics say most of these marriages fail. Okay, what were happening in the marriages? Who were the types of guys who were getting married? How were they interacting with the women? Who were the types of women these men were marrying? You understand what I'm saying? All of these things matter. Now, also, what you have to understand is this. The thing with statistics is you can't live your life based off the statistics, because you have to, like, for example, statistics say what? 3 out of 4 businesses fail. I'm sure all of us on this panel, we're all businessmen. So if we were to listen to statistics about business, why we wouldn't get into business? Because we say, well, don't get into business. 3 out of 4 businesses fail. But why is it that 3 out of 4 businesses fail? The reason why most of these businesses fail is not because there's something wrong with business. It's something wrong with certain people who are trying to have a business. And what do we know about most people? Most people are lazy. Most people quit at the first sign of failure.
Facts.
Most people don't have the motivation to do what they want to do. So then, therefore, this is why they fail. It's not the business, it's the people. So when a lot of these marriages fail, or when these women don't respect the guys and they're taking them through the ringer, it's not because marriage is the issue. It's the people in the marriage that's the issue. It's the guy. What is the guy doing in the relationship where he didn't actually have any influence or any type of management in the situation to make the relationship go where it needs to go? Now, I always say this, and I'll end it with this. All relationships are going to end. Either both of y'all are going to die, that's inevitable, or you're going to break up before you die. You understand? That's what's going to happen. Now, when you're in a marriage, see, the point of the marriage isn't necessarily just to keep it together. What it is that if you are going to be married, it's about joining together to build something with the person you're with. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of times when guys are looking at a situation as far as a relationship is concerned, they're looking at it just through the eyes of sex and sexual interactions.
Yep.
And they're not looking at the other aspects of a relationship that are non-sexual. So, and again, like I said earlier, is that there are going to be certain types of cooperation you're not going to get from certain women if they're in a certain position. So I had guys say, well, why don't you just, do the same thing without being married? You cannot get wife cooperation from a girl you're hooking up with. Not going to happen. But that's what I'll end it on there.
Ty, what's your take on that, man?
Yeah, no, he actually said a lot of good points, made a lot of good points. But let me say this one thing, all right?
Mm-hmm.
the title was to get everybody's attention, right? I'm not saying don't get married. I'm not saying get married. This is what I'm saying. Know what you're getting yourself into. And once you get married, if whatever happens, you can't complain about it. Whatever happens once you are married, you shouldn't be complaining because like now you know. You see what I'm saying? Because it's out there now. We got plenty of YouTube content, Instagram, Twitters. There's so many social platforms. You see what I'm saying? And I know people, oh, well, stats is this, stats that. Hey, man, look, it is what it is. There's a reason why they have certain sayings for certain reasons. What they say, it's cheaper if you keep her. They don't say that for no reason. You see what I'm saying? I never hear nobody say, oh, it's cheaper if you keep him. No, because let's be realistic. Us men are judged based off how much we can provide for women. So let's not play this little game here. We know that us men are the providers. We have more to lose in relationships. And all I'm saying is once you get married, whatever happens when you get into the divorce, you should just say, you know what? Hey, it is what it is. Don't complain about it because now it's like I knew this was going to happen. Or if it doesn't, it's a dice you roll. But you can't sit up here and go into something, you know what I'm talking about? And then when something fails, when you know what's against it, now you want to complain about it. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's some marriages out there that's actually good. I'm not going to sit up here and say that, but that's not the masses. Let's speak in whole for everybody. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So, John, you wanted to say something to this?
No, I just agree. I mean, I especially like, I mean, that's the stoic approach to it anyway. To life is like, you know, whatever should happen is going to happen, right? It doesn't mean you shouldn't be like walking into situations without knowledge, right? You should gain as much knowledge as you can. Like, again, the whole red pill, all the stuff, right? Too many guys, they take red pill knowledge as an excuse to live their life in fear. It's supposed to be there so you understand and have the knowledge that you can use to operate your life, but you can't operate your life out of fear. Can't be like, what if this shit happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And then when you make a decision, then as a man, you accept the consequence of the decision. If you choose and you have the knowledge now and you choose to get married and then the shit ends badly and you lose happy, I don't want to hear you crying. No one wants to hear you crying because you made a choice. So as a man, you accept the consequences and you accept that there is risk involved in things and that you may you may suffer consequences when you start a business. I think Mr. Locario's analogy is great, but we could take that even further and say, okay, when you start a business, you put some money into it, you put some time into it. There's a risk that shit could fail, right? So it doesn't mean that you don't start a business, but it means that you learn about a business before you start a business and you have a plan and you have some knowledge, but it could still fail. And so you got to accept that. If you the problem I have is so many guys. I see it all in the YouTube comments and in the community. They're so afraid of every fucking thing, right? They're afraid of getting Me Too'd. Okay, they're like, oh, you can't kiss a girl without asking because you're gonna get Me Too. They're afraid of getting divorced. They're afraid of every single thing that their girlfriend's gonna cheat on them. All these things, and it's like, okay, yeah, well, you could sit in your basement and live your life in fear, or you can take the knowledge that you have. You can decide, trust yourself, like you were saying, to make a decision and then accept whatever fucking consequences come from it. And hey, if you're really the man, I think Dean was saying that in the chat, but then that's just a page in the chapter of your book. So if she leaves, whatever, okay, like if you're really the man, first of all, you're not even going to be afraid of that because you know that any woman that is going to leave you would be fucking retarded and stupid to do that because you got to be so valuable, not just as a money valuable, but valuable as a fucking man who has game, who understands women, who provides and does all the things that would make a woman a fool to divorce him or to cheat on him or to pull any kind of that shit. You gotta know how to run your household. And then if the shit does happen, okay, yeah, so you suffer loss, you lose shit, whatever, but then you move on because you still know that you're the fucking man, and big deal, it's her choice. All right, you just lost your fucking ticket to paradise, and there's be someone else that'll come along. So that's the attitude that you got to have. It's like you can't be afraid. Like fear is the thing that so many guys are living their life in, and that's what's fucking them all up. And they're like looking for all this stuff. It's like, okay, how can I find shit that feeds my fear addiction? Because I want to find all these people telling me about fear so I can be afraid of all this shit and then scare everyone else about it. Again, you should have wisdom, you should have the knowledge, But if you're living your life based on fear, you're not gonna live much of a life.
John, I wanted to ask you a question. So I'm, like I mentioned to the audience, that I have a rotation and I am interested in eventually becoming monogamous again. It's been like a while, but I waited my time. And Ty, this is also just kind of provide context for my life. You know, for me personally, bro, I'm Middle Eastern, okay, and I've had my family, I've had friends like push, like, why aren't you getting in a relationship, or when is that right girl coming in your life? You know, how many girls are you seeing? And I'll tell them the number, and they're like, well, aren't any of these girls like girlfriend quality for you? And I'm like, no, none of them are. So I've taken my time, and I'm not listening to anybody but myself. I trust myself over anybody else. My mom and dad, they ain't paying my marriage bills or whatever. They're not paying for anything. You know, I'm if I'm living the life of being married and having children, it's going to be my life and my money with her money, right? So I wanted to ask a question of Bulldog. So what steps are you taking, John, to find like you have a relationship? So what did you do to find out that this woman that you're in a relationship with is the right woman to be in a relationship with? Not just because you want that consistent sex, not just because you want that constant validation. You obviously chose her for specific reasons that met your criteria. So how did you find that? And for the audience out there who does want to have a family, they do want a relationship, how do they pick the right woman, or how do they just find the kind of right woman?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is, well, the first thing is that if you don't have options, you're not making a choice, right? Probably 90% of guys that do end up getting married, they basically marry the first woman that'll have sex with them. That's it, right? Because they don't have options. They don't know game. This is why it's like, a lot of people hate on game and all this shit. But you know what? If you don't have options, you don't have a choice. So you have to develop the skills to be able to have a multitude of women in order to gain the experience and to have an actual choice that you're making, to have options. So if you don't have options, you don't have a choice. So you got to get options first of all. That's going to help you to figure out what is your best option, because it's just like a lot of things in life, kind of the 80-20. You got to think about it this way, right? If you just date like maybe 2 or 3 girls in your life, you're not going to even have an idea, because 90% of the women are trash. They're no good. They're not what you're looking for. Okay, and so the chances are, if you roll the dice and you only roll it 2 or 3 times, you're probably going to find one of the bottom 90%. Okay, but then if you date a lot of women, all right, you're gonna find this. You're gonna find a girl that is going to be so far above all the other ones, right? And you're going to have the options, so you'll know it, and you'll be like, shit. It'll be a very clear and easy choice. Now, as far as like, what are you looking for? I mean, we could make a list and we could talk about those things, but if you just have the experience and the options, you would know. You wouldn't even have to, because it'll be so clear, right? It's a problem when you don't have options. You date only like 3 or 4 women in your life, you're not going to know. But if you date 50 of them, hey, whatever, 100 of them, you're gonna see one that stands out. And there's plenty of other options. But when we talk about like what is like in the vetting process itself, because maybe not every guy has the options to date that many women, you're looking for, the most important thing is that she treats you like a king. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's going to make the marriage successful. She has to treat you like a king. She treats you like a king, and you have to learn how to treat her like, not a queen, like a princess. All these women are saying, I'm the king, he's the queen. No, she treats you like a king. You treat her like a princess, because that is the nature of the relationship, and that is how you run your house. It has to be that way. It's not any equal ruling. It doesn't work that way. Okay, and so you're looking for a woman that treats you like a king, that supports you, that makes it basically so that when you're working and busting ass and bringing home the bacon, that she's a multiplier, because she's up there lifting you up, helping you to become better, not competing with you. If she's competing with you, she's trying to compete with you on intelligence, on all these things, on business and all these things. You're just you'll be fighting each other. Instead, you got to find a woman that multiplies what you're able to do on your own, because she supports you in whatever way, right? Traditionally, it's been, she's feeding you and she's taking care of the kids and the laundry and stuff like that, so you can focus on your mission and purpose. But it doesn't have to be that. It's also the moral support. When you have someone who respects you and admires you, it makes you want to go out and fucking conquer the world. And that is the motivation that's going to push you forward. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone to treat you like a king, than someone who becomes a multiplier to the output that you could produce on your own. That's what makes it a good deal for you.
Beautiful. And I want to get Afi in this because Afi is king genius, Afi. And you know, Bulldog is talking about being the king and she's your princess. So Afi, spit some game for us, brother. Tell us what's on your mind right now.
I'm gonna spit some fire game. So
hell yeah, baby.
Feel free not in the chat room. You can go ahead and hit the Cash App because I'm about to save like at least about 20 lives with this one gem. Just this one gem, I'm gonna save about 20 lives. So let me teach y'all something real quick that you guys probably don't know. Now, when you're in relationships, right? People date for the wrong reasons. So let me give you an example. You have to understand, because sometimes we get caught up in our ego. I'm a king, I'm alpha, all of this. She gonna listen to me. That's cool. I feel that way about myself too. But you want to find, if you want to get married, you find women who, like, that's how they're raised too. Like, so you want a woman who came from parents that were married or is in the church and she's into the spiritual element of it. You see what I'm saying? Because when you get that, you get a different level of cooperation because you guys both want the same thing. A lot of times, men, I like a girl, she's bad, she's a dime, and I've been rocking with her, so let me go ahead and marry her to keep her quiet. You see, you want to get married because you want to get married. You don't get married to satisfy her because all you're going to do is resent her. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So when you find a chick, that needs to be her vibe too. Like me, I don't want any kids. It doesn't matter what kind of woman I meet. It don't matter. It ain't, oh, you ain't found the right one. No, I'm single. I got more money. I can do more stuff. I don't want no kids. I can live through my books, through my dogs, through some whatever cool shit that I'm gonna do later on that I ain't did yet. Maybe I talk in front of the Oakland Coliseum. I don't know. But when you date, you want to make sure that she's on that page too. Because a lot of times it's like it's like you want her to be on the page because you like her, but that's not how she want to live. You got to understand how your woman want to live. You feel me? If I'm dealing with a chick, I want to live abroad. If she don't, well, either she can be submissive, she can be catering to me, she can be bombing the bed. But if I want to live abroad, she don't. Our lifestyles don't match. You got to find someone who lifestyles match. Just like, like who like you, choosing signals, right? I can get a woman to like me who doesn't have interest, right? So say we got a woman right here. She don't really like me, but I got fire game though, so I know how to bring the interest up, right? I know how to bring it up. But I got this other chick over here. She already likes me. So I'm trying to bring this up. This is already high. You see? You go with what works for you. It has to make a connect. You cannot date with your ego and feel like, okay, well, I'm good looking or I'm high value or I got game. So let me make her into what I'm into. You can do that, but it's much easier when you're dealing with a woman and you guys already see on the same page. Just regardless of your game and just if you guys are into the same stuff and have the similar goals, then this is when we talk to marriage. She may just want to travel the world and do something else, but you want to wife her because you like her. You got to understand, women, y'all got to speak the same language on that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I want to say.
And Ty, let me mute you really quick, Afi. I think it's echo coming from you, Ty. So I'm gonna. I saw you nodding to what Afi was saying, man. So what are your opinions? What are your thoughts?
I agree with him. Like, I'm talking about. Like, I agree with that. It's just like I said. It's just that government that's in between that marriage. Like, I agree with everything from him to Bulldog, from the other guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Mr. Locario.
Yeah, everything y'all saying is good. And it's I don't see no lies in what y'all saying. Mm-hmm. It's just that government, man, and that's the part right there. That's the one right there.
So I want to bring actually John into this because John is the money guy. John, when I saw you nodding to what T.O. was saying, to Ty was saying as well. I mean, can you give advice to a lot of other men who are thinking about this, that are concerned about the government? Because I'll be honest with you too, John. I mean, Hold on, let me pull up my screen really quick, and I'll go to you, John. For me, again, like I was literally scared of the whole thing about marriage and divorce, because I was like, what if I married the wrong woman, and what if she takes half my shit? And Mr. 1950, he even made a great comment about this. He's like, a lot of guys, they can't even rub two pennies together, so why are you worried about like a Dr. Dre situation? I agree with that. But essentially, like, I do care about my life, and I do want to make sure that my assets are safe, whatever assets I have. And yes, I'm not talking about my PlayStation 5 to Mr. 1950. That was a funny one from before. But John, you're the money guy. So guys like who are, concerned about the government, I guess, like intruding into the marriage, or, taking half your shit and all that kind of stuff. What's your response to that? So guys can go about it more pragmatic.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of things. So one, I'm a libertarian. Okay. So I don't think there should be any government. I don't think that. I think that taxation is theft, and that we're basically subjects. We're enslaved. Like, government is not necessary. It is not. It's not anything I believe in at all. Okay. So, but it's also not pragmatic. That well, I think it's possible, right? I think if you read a lot of libertarian literature, you can see how things could operate without the government. But where everything is privately owned, including defense and security and police force and all that stuff. But regardless of that, the thing is, I'm not creating that utopia. I'm not trying to overthrow the government. Why? Because it's not pragmatic. It's not going to. So I pay my taxes. Okay, I figure out how to pay less taxes. I do the things that I need to do. I don't just sit there and try and rail against an enemy that I can't defeat, because I understand power dynamics. So I operate within my framework, my cage, so to speak. Right? You're not free. You're a slave. Okay, we're all slaves. Just recognize that, understand that, but understand you have some latitude of freedom within that slavery. Okay, so now we talk about marriage in regards to this. Okay, that's part of that's part of the deal. Yeah, you can try and do some kind of thing where you don't get married officially in the state, whatever, through the government, and that's fine. If you can figure that out, if you're in a state where you can pull that off, that's fine. But the thing is, you have to be smart about it, right? And obviously you can put some things in place, right? Again, they talk about the prenups and stuff, and yeah, sure, that can be overthrown. But if you're smart and you set up a trust, there's financial ways to do that, to protect yourself if you wanted to. Basically, an irrevocable trust can solve that. But regardless of that, forget about all that. Here's the thing that I want to say about this, about like being afraid, and it comes out of fear. It's like losing half your shit. You have to think about it this way. Okay, imagine, so if you're like, well, I don't want to get married because it could end badly and I could lose half my shit. That's sort of like having a backup plan, right? And it seems like a smart thing to do, but what if your girl, or what if you're dating a girl and she was like, yeah, yeah, no, I'm not gonna unfollow these guys on Instagram, because if something doesn't work out with them, then I need to have a backup plan, right? You wouldn't really want her to have a backup plan. You wouldn't want her to be like, you wanted her to be fully all in, committed to the thing, and saying, hey, shit could happen. I could be stuck and be alone, or whatever, or I could be 40 and be alone. Like, you don't want her to be like, okay, well, I'm 95% in with you, but I got this 5% backup plan. I got these other guys that, I could call up. Right? You don't want that, right? So same thing, right? The way that you commit as a man, because if you're a really high value man, you have a lot of options, and women know it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a real high value man, any woman that you're dating is going to be scared as shit that you're going to cheat on her, because she knows you can do it. Okay. She knows that those options are available. And so when you say, hey, yeah, I don't like government, but I'll sign this paper that says I could lose half my shit, that's how you're going all in. Now, again, are you doing this haphazardly? Are you doing this without caution? Are you doing this without knowledge? No, but that's why women want it so bad, is because that's what you're doing. And it's the same thing. Like, you would want her to have a backup option. You kind of got to, if you're really going to go all into something, and here's the thing, here's the catch this as well. Okay. If you want your actual relationship to work, both parties got to be 100% all in. 100%. Mm-hmm. See, most people, their relationships don't work because they're holding back a little, right? They're not vulnerable. They're not totally letting the other person in. There's a lack of intimacy because of that. And so, the catch-22 here is that You know, it's like jumping out of an airplane. Like, you got to jump. Like, well, if the parachute doesn't work, well, there's no like halfway out of an airplane. Like, so if you're setting yourself up for failure, if you come into a marriage type of commitment relationship with a backup plan, because that's going to make it less likely that's going to succeed. So if you're going to go all in, just go all in. Okay, have some wisdom about it. Do your vetting process, and then if the shit doesn't work out, just accept the fucking consequences, because that's what it is to be managed. Accept the consequences. So maybe you might lose half your shit. Okay, that's fine. You should be so sure in your head that you understand what you're doing, that you know it's a very little risk to you, or that you're willing to accept that risk because you want to live your life. So that's kind of my take on it.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted you to go next.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I definitely agree with Bulldog when he's talking about, you know, that there's that risk to everything and everything like that. But as far as the being concerned about the government, though, is you have to ask yourself, do when it comes to the woman I'm with, do I have influence or does the government have influence? You see what I'm saying? Do I have more influence over my woman than the government, or does the government have more influence over my woman than I do? And so that's the issue, where a lot of guys, the government has more influence over their girl than they do. You know, like shout out to this dude on YouTube. He has a channel called Mr. Limber Channel. He said once, your girl is going to either listen to society or she's going to listen to you. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is that when you're in a situation a lot of times with these women, right? It's usually your fault, the reason why you're in that crazy situation with her at the end of the day, because you chose to elevate a woman who you knew wasn't ready to be in that position, who you knew wasn't really submitting to you, who you knew wasn't, you haven't had any influence over her. And so, like, let's say, for example, you live with your girl, right? And let's just say, for sake of argument, you're renting a place out, and let's say the landlord came to your house and said to you and your girl, he looked at your girl and said, listen, I'm going to kick both y'all out the house if you don't get rid of your man, right? Now, if she was to say, well, all right, I guess you got to go, boyfriend or husband or whatever, right? That means that your landlord got more influence over your girl than you. Because what your girl should say is, well, all right, I guess we out. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm not leaving my man. I'm not going to diss my man to stay here. I'm not going to diss my man for anybody else. So what happens is that a lot of these guys don't have influence on their women. And then also what you have to understand is that when guys are scared to lose half their stuff, the reason why you're scared to lose half your stuff is because you didn't put your girl to work. So the reason why you're saying I'm scared to lose half my stuff is because the money that you've accumulated is either money you had already before she got to you and she didn't contribute, and therefore that means you wifed her up too soon, or you wifed her up and y'all been together for a while, but you didn't have her contribute anything as far as work is concerned to help build up that money. So in the case where you have to split something, the split should be something that she already put work into. So it's not necessarily anything that she's taking from you. It's what she put in. It's almost like the Jeff Bezos situation where his wife helped him build Amazon. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You understand? He helped him build that. So then therefore, when the split goes, it's like, okay, yeah, take that money because you helped put this together. You see what I'm saying? And then so what you have to understand is that at the end of the day, that woman is going to be influenced by you if you vet her correctly, meaning if you let her go through the ringer, she has to grind with you. She has to go through all of the stuff with you. And then therefore, you're going to have that influence because she's attached to you at this point. See, a lot of times what happens is the reason why it's hard for certain people to leave relationships is because they've put so much energy into the relationship. They put so much investment in it. So a lot of you guys aren't getting your girl to invest in you. You just meet a girl, you think she's cute, you think she's hot, you want to stick with her, and then you marry her for nothing. There was no investment. She didn't grind. She didn't sweat. There was no blood, sweat, and tears for her to get the position she's in with you. So therefore, there's no attachment. So then when it comes time for the government, and then you have a conversation with your girl, right? Your girl should already be on your side and be looking at the government and giving the governmental middle finger, even if you guys are breaking up, because she has that much respect for you that she's not going to do that thing. And see, a lot of guys don't understand this because they're not dealing with women who actually respect them. You see what I'm saying? And so therefore, because the girl didn't respect them, then she's not going to respect them later on down the line when they break up. You see what I mean? So that's my take on that.
Yep, I gotta get Ty on this,
Yeah.
brother. Sorry, accidentally you muted and then I unmuted you the other way around. There you go. Go ahead, man.
Okay, so y'all made some valid points. And I think it boils down to the age difference, because the women in my age group, man, it's sad, but that mindset they washed. A lot of them are programmed. It's just, they don't need a man. They think they better. It's like they doing us a favor by being there. I mean, if you look at TikTok, Instagram, I mean, it's just sad. Women are just openly talking about this now. You see what I'm saying? And it's no matter how much money. I heard, I think it was Bulldog. He said something about when you have money, you have options, and that's true. But at the same time, I mean, look how many of these millionaires and billionaires getting ran through the ringer. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just you can't beat female nature. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing you could do to make her happy. You know what I'm talking about? You can't make women happy. You see what I'm saying? When they want to leave, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the sad part about it. I mean, we can ignore the stats, or we can put stats into it. It doesn't really matter. And like I said, my generation, this generation is crazy. The women is done. You see what I'm saying? The birth rates out of wedlock is through the roof. I mean, it's crazy. It's sad. And I think I think y'all talking from a sense of how it should be. And I agree, everything y'all said, how it should be. But let's be realistic here. Is that how it is?
Okay. Ty, that's a lot that you just said right now, and I want to address this, and then I want to let the rest of the panel address it, and then we're going to wrap it up
Okay.
for our show. So, Ty, that was listen. I'm going to tell you this from a student perspective, right? Because I'm still a student of life. Bulldog and AFI and Locario have coached me, and all these guys like Steve and 1950 in the panel, they've all coached me before. So I'm going to say this, man. From the perspective of what you're saying, that like all the TikTok and all the noise out there, everything you said, let's just all put it in a pot, right? That's all the outside noise. I'm going to tell you this right now, brother. I'm not concerned. Well, there we go. I'm not concerned about anything, man. I'm not worried about any of that shit. And the reason why none of that stuff matters to me, and yes, I agree with you. The TikTok, birth out of wedlock, all that stuff. Yes, it exists, but it doesn't apply to me, because when you know yourself so well and you study yourself, you become centered with yourself, and what, one thing Steve has been very active in the chat. He says, why should a woman fuck with you? When you let that sink in, it requires you to not be lazy. It requires you to think to yourself, okay, why am I, a special man? Why am I different from all the other guys out there? And once you understand yourself and you work on all the insecurities that have been conditioned throughout your life, like any kind of insecurity you have, any kind of issues you have, any kind of problems you have, right? The moment you knock that shit down, holy crap, bro, I'm telling you, you're going to reach a whole different level of awareness, that even if this TikTok bullshit, there's going to, your time, I'm going to tell you something else, brother. There's something else coming after TikTok that's going to do the same thing. It's going to expose the problems of society, that there's all these like issues of men and women making bad decisions and bad choices. But I'm not worried about any of that shit. In fact, I'm so in tune with myself, thanks to all the personal development I went through and removing all my insecurities. I'm not worried about any of that shit. That's my response to that. That's a student who's still learning and becoming better. And I'm coaching guys on this now. I tell guys, don't worry about that noise. Focus on yourself, because I am, again, I'm just to the point now where I can see above the bullshit. I can see above the outside noise. And I know, Ty, what you went through with the divorce, I'm sure it's tough, bro. There's emotional trauma that goes with it. I've never dealt with it.
Let me say something real quick. And that's exactly where you go wrong at, because my marriage, it didn't even end like that. Matter of fact, she didn't even want anything. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because if I use my marriage, if I use my anecdotal marriage, I'll tell everybody to get married. So you know what I'm saying? We can't do that. That's why I don't like using anecdotals. We got to use stats. You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't go through that. It's just an unfortunate situation that happened. You see what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Take anecdotes out. Let's put stats into it. You see what I'm saying? And my friends that I know, people that I served with, You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said, and I knew it was coming. I knew somebody was going to say that, but no, my marriage, no, it wasn't even like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Then you didn't have like such. So you would say that you didn't have such a like traumatic divorce then.
Nah,
Good.
it wasn't
Perfect.
even no toxic. It wasn't no toxic and none of that.
Beautiful.
But
So
like I said, but I can't use my anecdotes to say, oh well, shit, because I know damn well that's not the case.
well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to respond to the anecdotal thing, because for me personally, Ty, again, I'm not concerned about any of the statistics or anything like that. I just again focusing on myself, because you got to be very selfish. You got to be individualistic. You have to have self autonomy right here, because if you focus on other people's problems, what happened, you can learn from it. You can be aware from it. But I don't think that we should, as men, be concerned that, okay, just because Ty had an unfortunate experience, even though you didn't, get like what a lot of other guys have received, thank God, I'm still going to go after what I want, which is a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship, and with the right woman. More important, like what Locario was saying, you got to put her through the ringer, man. Like, none of these girls in my rotation are getting free dick. They have to work their freaking ass off to get this dick. A lot of other guys are going to be like, oh, I want to just fuck her the moment I see her. Listen, if you want to be part of the Grand Camp team, you got to work for this shit. None of this dick is for free. So I want to pass it to Afi. I want to pass it to Afi on this. Afi, what's your whole take on what Ty was saying about the statistics, the TikTok, and birth out of wedlock, all that kind of shit that was going on?
Man, I'm gonna just say, man, you gotta live for you, man. Like, that at the end of the day, that's still a scarcity mindset, bro. Like, it's just like me saying I don't want to get a job because I might get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I will get fired, but the marriage thing is a lifestyle thing for me. It don't really got nothing to do with the law and commitment. I don't want one woman that entitled to me. Now, if I had some kids, maybe I wouldn't mind as much, but I ain't got no kids, so I don't want no deep ass attachments, man. So I would just say, if you want to get married, though, do it because you want to. Don't do it because you just want to appease your girl because y'all been together 10 years and you want her to shut up because every like 2 years she give you an ultimatum. Do it because you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my man in the chat. Where is he at? I see somebody they said they had 9 figures, man. Let me be your personal assistant.
I'm gonna pull that up. I'll pull that comment up. It's somewhere up here.
Let me be your personal assistant. Let me do your paperwork because you got that 9 figures, and I'm telling you, just like that, like, you gotta always be looking up. When you always looking up or looking next, you don't get stuck. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why you be getting stuck in situations because you don't see past them. I'll let y'all rewind that. The only reason why you get stuck in situations is because you don't see past them. The unpacked version of that is like you don't see what's going on besides what's going on at the time. You feel what I'm saying? You have to have strategy in everything that you do. That's what game is. You feel me? Game ain't like about sleeping with women. You can use it for that, but you need to be knowing what you're doing at all times and have intent for everything that you do. If I were to get married, it would be like a business because it'd be like a Jay-Z, Beyonce. Who's to say they don't even date no more, but they're more powerful. What up, Zazzo? They're more powerful as a unit. So that's like the finesse part of it. So let's say I was dating. Let's say, thank you, 1950. Let's say I was dating the hottest YouTuber, right? Like, for instance, Mr. Organic and the girl Danielle, right? He's popular. He has like 300,000 subscribers, and she has like 200,000 subscribers. But people like them together. It's good for their business. Like, oh, I love you guys together. Let me buy one of y'all shirts. So it gotta be like that. Like, it ain't just because I love somebody so damn bad that I can't. No, hell no. Because I don't even have that type of love to give. Period. For nobody, not even no woman, nobody. Just period, man. My mama even put me through shit to where I'd be like, man, what the fuck type shit is this? So I can't give a woman all of me like that, bro. Like I live my life really like this the only one. So I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do because tomorrow not promised, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I know that I'm not. I'm telling my for real. I'm telling my boy. He got a girlfriend. He like, man, he ain't had sex with a new chick in over a year and a half. And he's like, is that is that like soft? And I'm like, well, I mean, if that make you happy, that's cool. But don't think God gonna bless you from being honorable and all of this shit. Because when you find out, you feel me, she didn't let that ex or that baby daddy tap 1 or 2 times. You gonna have a different vibe about your integrity. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Thank you, Alfie. Okay, Bulldog, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I got some off of what I was saying. So about the quality of the girls out there. So there's two things about this I think is critical to know. Is one, yeah, with TikTok, with the whole feminist society, all these things, it's true. It's true. But you have to think about it this way, right? You have to be like, these women are out there, they're hooking up, they're dating lots of guys, right? You're the guy that a woman dates, and maybe she has all this mindset. She thinks she's better than guys. Then she finds you, and she's like, "Fuck, I better keep this guy. Like, this guy is far superior to these other guys that I have had out there. Like, this guy is the guy that I want to keep." Right. So that's the first thing, is you becoming that guy. Right. You become the guy that all the women are like that. Now you actually have two options. The second thing is that you're going to train her. You're not gonna, it doesn't matter what society is teaching women. I mean, it makes your job a little harder, okay? But see, if you're what I said first, if you're that guy that's so superior to all the other options she has out there, because you actually understand yourself, you have game, you got your money right, you got your purpose right in life, you're truly a man. Because see, the problem is that feminist society is making all men pussies anyway, right? So if you're not
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, then it doesn't matter what's been brainwashed in her brain. She's gonna be like, all right, whatever it takes to keep that guy, to get that guy, I'm gonna listen to what he says, because I haven't seen this before. Okay, so you have to understand to become that guy, and then you're going to train her in the way that she needs to be in order to be a support for you. Now, you're not going to just take any, you're going to do some vetting ahead of time first to find a potential candidate, but she's not going to be perfect from the box. It's your job as a man to make her the woman she's capable of being, and to teach her those things, to show the level of boundaries that you have, that you won't be disrespected, all of these things, so that she becomes that. So it doesn't matter what you're starting with, because too many guys use this excuse, oh, I'm going to go east or whatever. There's not enough, Western women are fuck society. So that's not true. That's not true, because you're still going to have to make her into that woman. So that's the thing that I think that so many guys are missing, because they're trying to like escape from the responsibility of thinking, well, there's just no good selection out there. No. If you become the very high value man that's possible, all these women, they'll be willing to flip whatever they got, their religion, anything in their life, to be with you. And that's what you're looking for.
I want to say something to to Ty as well, to those comments. So Ty, I'm going to say this, brother. For me, based on, just kind of piggyback off what John is saying as well, and then I want to go to Mr. Locario afterwards, and then Ty, go ahead and you can have the last word, brother, and any share your experiences as well from being on the panel. So, it's funny because I remember during the pandemic, all the dating apps, it was like this. There were girls on dating apps, Ty, that were saying, oh, well, if you don't wear a mask, I'm not going to hug you, or I'm not going to meet up with you. Or if you don't we have to socially distance before we meet up. You know how much crock of shit that is? There's so many girls that I met with during the pandemic, and I screwed them on the first night, man. They came over to my place and we had sex, bro. Are you kidding me? You know how many girls like say that kind of shit? There's so much noise out there. See, there's a whole fleet of women that are out there that are going to make rules for other guys, right? But for the right man, they're going to do anything for you, right? Essentially, if you are that right man that can sexualize a conversation, let's say on a dating app, do it from dating app to Instagram to meeting in person, right? If you sexualize in the conversation, you get these girls super, super wet, and they are just thinking about you. And, in the words of Steve Deneen, he's saying, a woman has two pussies. It's her head, also her mind, and also down there, right? If you can tap into this area right up here, you unlock this new world of this girl being overly obsessed with you. And she ends up idolizing you, and she wants to do anything for you. And again, there's just a whole fleet of girls out there that are, if the one girl, Ty, tells you, for example, that I'm going to make a rule for you and I'm not going to sleep with you on the first night. Let me tell you something else, brother. There's a girl waiting in line. My front door is right over there. There's a girl waiting in line outside right now that can open the door and come into my place and give me sex on the first night. I don't have to put up with any of that shit. And this all boils down to understanding yourself, having an abundance mindset, and talking about being a high value man, having options, like what Afi's talking about with his rotation. I mean, dude, I'm not settling for anything, man. I will literally, the woman that's going to be my wife worked her ass off to get to that point. And then what Locario was saying as well with the government, bro, if the government comes and tells us hey, you guys have to separate, my girl's going to say, fuck you. I'm going to stay with Cam. I'm not going with you. So I want to say that. And also, Locario, go ahead and say go ahead and please respond to anything you wanted to mention.
Yeah, I guess the last thing I wanted to say is just at the end of the day, I feel like people got to do what's best for them, because I think Afi was talking about this earlier, is that people, live different lives. People want different things. And I do agree with Ty with what he's saying is that people need to understand what's going on, so they get a sort of a good source of information before they can, make certain decisions. The only problem, though, is when it comes to statistics, a lot of times, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, is that they look at statistics, but they're not really looking deeper into what the statistic is saying and what that even means with the statistics. And then they're living their lives based off of statistics. So instead of saying, hey, this is what I want, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen, they're thinking about, well, let me check the statistics on this thing I want to do first, and then I'll make a move. But the problem with that is that when you're looking at statistics, you're only getting surface level stuff, and sometimes you're not even getting anything accurate. So, for example, they'll say statistically, you always hear this thing of black on black crime, right? They'll be like, oh, the black people are killing each other, whatever, right? And they have stats on that. Now, the real thing is that people do crime with people they're living close to. So if you're a black person living in a black neighborhood, of course you most likely have black on black crime because you're a black person in that black neighborhood. Same thing with white people in the same neighborhood. A white person's more so do a crime to a white person in a white neighborhood. That's just what it is. You see what I'm saying? But then if you hear that statistic, a black person might say, damn, well, I don't want to be near black people at all because I might get killed because I'm black and there's black on black crime. You see what I'm saying? So now you're living your life based off of a statistic that you didn't go deeper into the why of why that statistic is really what it is. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing applies for this entire thing also, is that when you're looking at these things, you're looking at the statistic, but you're not going deeper into what it means. And also, even when we look at YouTube videos and people are talking about female nature, and what I find interesting is that a lot of times when guys talk about female nature, the stuff that they're saying is, it's not that it's wrong. Like, there are certain things that women will do on the negative side. It's like, damn, you got to watch out for this because these chicks will be on some crazy stuff. But they never talk about the other side of female nature, of women actually being submissive, supportive, cooperative, cooking, cleaning, catering to you, giving you sex when you want it to happen. Like, they never talk about that side of female nature. You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, depending on the type of guy you're going to be, is the type of female nature you're going to experience. You understand what I'm saying? In a lot of your situations. So if you're the type of guy who's confident, who has game, who understands his value, you're more so going to experience the side of female nature of women actually wanting to be with you and cater to you and be that type of woman who's going to be easygoing, cooperative, submissive, compliant, all the other stuff. If you're on the other side of female nature of, being a guy who's, scared to talk to women, that beta male type of dude, the guy who has no game, the guy who doesn't believe in himself, he's insecure, you're definitely going to get the side of female nature. They're going to take advantage of you, play you, take you to divorce court, treat you like crap, all that other stuff. You're going to experience that. But remember, those experiences are coming from the type of guy that you present yourself to be. So this is why I say you got to figure out and understand your value so that you can be in situations where you're experiencing the side of female nature where they're actually being compliant, submissive, and cooperative to you. So that's my take on that.
My bad. I was muted the whole time. Rookie mistake. So I wanted, I was like, why is nobody listening to me? So I wanted to say, this is going to wrap up the show. And Ty, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts about what everybody said? What Locario, Bulldog, and AFI all said so far, and was there any change about your, any difference in opinion you have now, or any kind of takeaway you got from it?
Definitely. Hey man, like they really made me look at things from a different angle. And I really appreciate everything they said. I'm definitely gonna take heed into it. Still not getting married. That's not happening. But, that's not. But all jokes aside, man, everything they said, man, I agree with. It's about taking personal accountability as men, being the best version of yourself. And I 100% agree with what they were saying. And I really appreciate all of y'all for sharing wisdom with me. And I learned a lot from all three of y'all, man. So I appreciate that.
Dude, thank you, Ty. And you've been a really and since the beginning, since we started talking, man, you've always been a good sport about it, man. And I really appreciate this is what we need more than anything, is just men being tolerant of other people's opinions, other men's opinions. I mean, this is what makes men, like, everyone on this panel is a fucking man. And we had a good conversation. It was constructive. And Ty, again, at the end of the day, it's your life, brother. You're gonna do whatever you want to do. And but I appreciate you having an open mind. I appreciate you allowing this stream to happen as well, because if this wouldn't happen, I mean, then we couldn't have a conversation, and there wouldn't be enlightenment for everybody, even on the audience. So I'm sure the audience got a great takeaway from this as well. So I want to start off by ending the episode. I want to say, everybody just go ahead and give your socials, websites, programs, courses, anything you have, books or anything that you have coming out or you currently have. Let's start with Mr. AFI Kingdom. I know you have like a bunch of books and a bunch of stuff. So go ahead, AFI. I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, good. Make sure y'all, you guys follow me on YouTube at AFI Kingdom Podcast. Right now, I'm not doing too much streaming, so make sure you follow me on Instagram. I've been doing my streaming over there, which is at King Genius AFI. Check out the books. You can just follow me on Amazon, and then you can look at all the books and decide which one you want. I got The Art of Charisma coming out next month, and I got 2 children's books dropping on Christmas. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you need some coaching or you need a consultation, you can hit me at mrkingfeed101@gmail.com. Remember that, Locario? and right. You can take that up live. Or you can hit me on my website at dominancemindset.org. And shout out to Red Pill Thor for you haters. I got my white big brother in here. Knock you out!
This motherfucker right here. This guy, RP Thor, is a fucking stud, man. He's fucking huge. All right. And then we're going to go to the next stud over here. What's up, John? Okay, so tell us your socials, where people can find you.
Yeah, just go to bulldogmindset.com. There's a quiz there. It'll give you your Bulldog score, 10 questions. It'll pop up when you get there. And then just take the quiz and you'll be on my email list. I'll send you some ways to improve your Bulldog score. And then you get in the drip with my videos and all that stuff. So bulldogmindset.com.
And make sure you watch Bulldog Mindset's reels too. He's been on the reel game on TikToks and all that kind of stuff. He has a good editor. I mean, the videos are on point, and I'm looking at John's videos all the time. So guys, make sure you subscribe to AFI Kingdom Bulldog and Mr. Locario on Instagram as well, because Locario is on the TikTok game too. Locario, I'm going to let you go next, and then Ty, your last but not least, brother. So Locario, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Shout out to you, Grand Cam. Shout out to AFI, Bulldog, Ty. Shout out to everybody watching, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And you can guys get me up at MrLocario.com. And you can hit me up on Instagram at real Mr. Locario, and also the Bad Boy membership. So badboymembership.com. All right.
Perfect. Ty, last but not least, brother, go ahead. Where can people find you? Here, let me unmute you. There you go. Where can people find you, man?
YouTube, man, Tyx Worldwide. Instagram, same thing, Tyx Worldwide. I'm still new to this YouTube community, Red Pill community. So yeah, follow me on there, man. And that's that. And appreciate y'all for watching and tuning in.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Grand Mail Podcast channel right here. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Grand Cam channel. So I usually make comments on the Grand Mail Podcast. And guys, also, just to let you know really quick, I have a Telegram. I'm going to mute you really quick, Ty. So I have a Telegram. I have a Telegram group, by the way, that is has have content creators like Bulldog Mindsets on it. I got AFI Kingdom on it. Locario, if you want to jump in on it too, it's the Grand Mail group of studs. It's for a community for guys who want to learn how to grow with dating, money, mindset, fitness, all that kind of stuff. If you guys want to be part of it, make sure you send me a DM on Instagram. It's the Grand Cam. I'm going to write down on the chat right now. Just make sure you DM me. And if you want to be part of it, you're going to have to just, once you DM me, I'm going to have to do a video chat with you really quick to make sure you're not a troll and you're not anyone who's weird. So again, guys, subscribe to the channel. Thanks to everybody on the podcast for being on this panel. Appreciate you guys so much. You all have a great night. Peace.